is with great pleasure and immense pride that we welcome you all to the official launching ceremony of this important regional TADAT workshop here in our island, the Republic of Mauritius. We are deeply honored to host such a distinguished gathering of tax experts who have come together from across the region to share knowledge and strengthen tax administration. A special and warm welcome to the Honorable Junior Minister Damri, whose presence confers immense significance to this event and reflects the strong commitment of the government towards advancing sound tax administration and fostering regional cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mauritius Revenue Authority enjoys a strong partnership with the IMF. Our collaboration is marked by shared dedication to strengthening revenue mobilization, improving transparency, and adopting international best practices. The IMF support through the technical assistance and capacity building initiatives has been critical to our progress and has served as a model of effective partnership in the region. I want to seize the opportunity today to extend our sincere gratitude to the IMF for its ongoing guidance, technical support, and in bringing this workshop to fruition. This workshop represents a milestone in that partnership focusing on the TADAT. Indeed, the TADAT provides a comprehensive framework for assessing performance of tax administration across multiple dimensions, enabling countries to pinpoint their strengths and opportunities for reform. The knowledge and insight generated through this tool have empowered numerous countries to enhance their tax system and promote equitable and efficient tax collection. The presence of delegates from 22 countries here today highlights the importance of regional cooperation. By coming together in this forum, we learn from each other's experience, share challenges and successes, and build a stronger network of professionals committed to advancing tax administration. This collective endeavor is crucial as we confront shared challenges. Over the next 4 days, we encourage all participants to actively engage, exchange ideas, and build lasting partnership. Once again, I welcome you all to Mauritius. We are honored to host and look forward to a productive, insightful, and successful workshop. Together, let us reaffirm our commitment to enhancing tax administration, an essential pillar in driving economic growth and good governance throughout the region. I thank you all for your kind attention. We have among us Mr. Modest Mopa, Head of TADAT Secretariat. Mr. Mopa is a highly respected leader in the field of tax administration with a career spanning both national and international arenas. Prior to assuming his current role as IMF Head of TADAT Secretariat, he served for a decade as Director General of Tax Administration of Cameroon, where he had led far-reaching reforms and introduced digital innovation and enhanced revenue mobilization. Today, he brings his wealth of experience to the global stage, guiding TADAT Secretariat in its mission to promote transparency, accountability, and efficiency. I would now like to invite Mr. Modest Mopa to address us.
It is a pleasure to be back in Mauritius, a place that feels like home to the TADAT Secretariat. Just over a year and a half ago, we gathered here to launch a series of workshops aimed at revising the TADAT Field Guide to reflect the evolving landscape of tax administration. Today, after more than 2 years of dedicated work, we are delighted to return to Mauritius to share the results of that endeavor. TADAT, the Tax Administration Diagnostic Assessment Tool, is a global diagnostic instrument designed to support tax administrations in strengthening their systems. Now more than a decade old, the 2025 review marks the second major update to the framework since its inception in 2014. This workshop marks an important milestone. We are here not only to present the update updated Field Guide 2025, but also to explore how TADAT can continue to contribute to building a stronger, more resilient tax systems for the future. I would like to emphasize that this workshop is jointly organized by the TADAT Secretariat, the Mauritius Revenue Authority, and the 3 IMF Regional Capacity Development Centers, AfriTac East, AfriTac South, and AfriTac West 2. Since its launch, TADAT has been used in 203 assessments across 112 countries. It provides an objective, standardized evaluation of a country's tax administration performance and its maturity level in line with international good practices. The results help identify reform priorities and guide tax authorities in implementing improvements with greater confidence. Beyond its diagnostic function, TADAT is evolving into a platform for structured dialogue on tax administration reform, bringing together governments, tax officials, development partners, and civil society. Key components of the TADAT framework include training and capacity building. Through workshops and online courses, TADAT equips tax officials and experts with knowledge of good practices, prepares them for assessments, and fosters reform champions within administrations. To date, nearly 5,000 professionals worldwide are TADAT certified. Outreach and knowledge sharing. TADAT promotes international good practices through podcasts, webinars, livecasts, and a vibrant community of practice that facilitates peer learning and collaboration. Over the years, the TADAT framework has matured significantly. It is now widely used not only by tax administrations and capacity development partners, but increasingly by researchers and academics. We look forward to engaging discussion over the coming days and to your valuable insight as we continue to shape the future of tax administration together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mopa, for sharing your insights on the TADAT framework. Our next speaker to address us is Mr. Sukhwinder Singh, but before he proceeds, let me introduce Mr. Singh, brings more than 24 years of experience at the IMF, having served in roles across African, Asia Pacific, and strategy, policy, and review departments. Mr. Singh has played a key role in establishing and leading IMF South Asia Regional Training and Technical Assistance Center in New Delhi, and previously directed East AfriTac in Tanzania. His multifaceted experience spans resident mission in Nepal, Ethiopia, as well as leadership in Chad, Cape Verde, and Sierra Leone. Please join me in extending our warm welcome to Mr. Sukhwinder Singh.
This is an event, a high-level event, and we're doing several of these, to mark 10 years of TADAT. It reflects our shared commitment to strengthening public institutions and enhancing tax administration across the continent. The centers that got together here, and we have actually 5 of them, but 3 of them got together here, AfriTac West 2, AfriTac East, and AfriTac South. We are committed on the ground to providing rapid, tailored, customized, and coordinated support to help our member countries strengthen tax administration. And I want to say that this work is more relevant today than it has ever been. When you look at the financing context for sub-Saharan Africa, if you look over recent years, how difficult, after all the shocks, when we were just emerging out of COVID and the sub-Saharan Africa was beginning to recover, we get hit by the disturbances to the global trading system. And we see countries having, even those with access to markets, having really, really difficult time getting finance. And if they do get finance, the spreads are very high. At the same time, we see huge declines in aid. That's been going on for 20 years. And in that environment, and the prospects are not particularly encouraging in that front as countries come, you see many countries prioritize shifting from development spending to defense spending. In that environment, strengthening your own domestic revenue mobilization and regaining control in a sense of the financing of your critical development needs is so central to any strategy. Improving the business environment that would attract foreign direct investment, and building, and that in a sense is dependent on strengthening public spending on key public infrastructure and creating, and that requires revenue. So the work that you do on the administration side to complement the work that your colleagues do on policy is absolutely central to the future prospects of this continent. So I can't reiterate how important and relevant and how amazing the work that you've done in recent years has been and to the future of the continent. Now, here, the TADAT, I think, has played a very, very important role over the last decade. Since its launch in 2014, we've really helped reshape the performance of tax administrations and also how we think about and evaluate the performance of tax administrations. Before TADAT, we had the PEFA system on the public expenditure side. And PEFA was a more structured approach, but there was no comparable framework to evaluate different performance areas in tax administration. It was very fragmented. There were different tools and methodologies. They were not consistent or comparable across countries. So you, in a sense, need to benchmark yourself against higher performing administrations and see, well, what are they doing in this area? And it wasn't happening. And TADAT allowed us to systematize things and track progress in an organized way and against other countries. And it introduced a standardized, objective, transparent framework. And I think that was an incredibly important contribution that TADAT made. My only regret in the whole thing is I always wondered why we don't have one for customs as well. And I would love to see one on the customs side too. So maybe this is that 10-year point we can give that a push to. But it really has been transformative. And it's really been used by countries. I remember about 10 years ago, I was in Rwanda, and I'm not sure if Rwanda is at the conference here. Is there anybody from Rwanda here? And Yusuf, who's now the minister, was the head of your tax administration, I think at the time. Oh no, statistics. He was head of statistics, and I remember talking to him at that time on the tax side, and he told me, and he'd been within a government meeting, and he said that we are using TADAT to completely change the strategy of our revenue administration. Before that, we had our strategy document. We're shelving that. Your assessment has given us a roadmap, and we're going to use that, to guide the whole reform plans. And they've been implementing it for, it must be a good decade now. And if you look at the performance of Rwanda on tax, its tax to GDP ratio, which is really, in the end, that's what the objective here is, to raise the resources. It's quite impressive what Rwanda has achieved. As Modeste said, 203 assessments done in more than half of the IMF membership, 112 countries. So this isn't just something that we do in developing countries. It's done in many, many countries. That's how valuable the framework is. And that shows, how useful countries all over the world at different stages of development find it. And our objectives in the centres are really aligned with the TADAT objectives. We very much focus on results, close coordination between other partners. And there are many partners, there are too many to thank that fund TADAT, so I'm not going to try and to say all of them because I'll probably miss one out and cause an incident. But, we work very closely with them on the ground, and they've provided support for this because they see this as a unifying framework, and it helps their work too. And our centres, work in complementary areas as well. I have a team here at the moment with the government of Mauritius working on public sector debt statistics. So we work on public sector debt statistics, public financial management, and a whole set of financial sector issues as well. And all that complements the work that's done on the tax side. And we've moved further than that. I was invited recently to a very nice conference here on how do we digitize public finance. And I know that the MRA is doing a lot of work on that front. And many of you, this is really a very important opportunity to improve the efficiency of our tax administrations. And the IMF's done a lot of work on the digitization of public finance, both on the revenue side and on the expenditure side. So we do a lot of training and support work in that front. We do a lot of work on climate, resilience, on governance, all issues very, very relevant to the work that you also do on the tax side. So just as I end, I would like to say this is really 10 years is a pivotal moment in the TADAT journey. I think it's been an enormous success. We at the IMF have been enormously proud and honoured to be part of that and to be key deliverers of this. And I think it's, as I mentioned, it's really a great platform for peer exchange, regional collaboration, and shared ownership. And that's exactly what this event will do in this beautiful setting of Mauritius. I just want to also say that TADATs are not just one-time exercises. This is a tool for continuous improvement. A number of countries have come back for repeat assessments because they want to keep progressing. They want to see how they're doing against their previous targets and areas for improvement and the previous performance assessments. And so it really fosters a culture of accountability, learning, and reform. So thank you so much for organising this, for the MRA for hosting this here. I think it was a very good choice. And I was just saying to MRA staff this morning that the MRA has been supplying staff to the IMF to deliver technical assistance to other countries, which is a great credit to the experience and skills of the MRA. So I think it's a very fitting choice. And I really want to end here. We're in the presence of the Honourable Minister. And I also want to mention we have the State Minister from Ethiopia here as well. So we have a very high-level delegation to both Mauritius and Ethiopia, very close to my heart. But we have the State Minister and Mauritius. All our work here at Afritac South for Southern Africa. But we didn't mention, and I didn't mention, that here in Mauritius, Mauritius hosts the Africa Training Institute, which serves all your countries, all over Africa. And the work of those two bodies or institutions would not be possible without the support of Mauritius. Very generous financial contribution, enormous support in terms of moral support and other guidance that Mauritius provides. So I really want to thank the host country, and I wish you a very, very enjoyable and productive stay here. Thank you.
Our next distinguished guest to address us is Mr. Rohit Amnawaz, Director General of the MRA. Mr. Amnawaz brings extensive experience built over decades of service in the financial, banking, and taxation sectors. In these roles, he has successfully steered institutions through reforms, guided teams toward high performance, and delivered results in complex national and international contexts. His leadership has always been marked by foresight, integrity, and commitment to modernization. At the helm of MRA now as Director General, his vision is to accelerate the transformation of the MRA, strengthen efficiency, and foster a culture of service excellence. He is dedicated to enhance transparency, reinforcing trust with his stakeholders, and ensuring that the MRA make decisive contribution to the Mauritius economic and social development. Please join me to warmly welcome Mr. Nawaz.
It gives me immense honor and a genuine pleasure to welcome you all for this workshop of the Regional Tax Administration Diagnostic Tool, which is commonly known as TADAT. This takes place from the 8th to the 12th of September 2025 under the theme Beyond 10 Years of TADAT Assessment, Building Stronger Tax Systems for Tomorrow, with the Field Guide 2025, which I understand should be coming very shortly. On behalf of MRA, I extend a very warm welcome to Mauritius to all traveling delegates. I hope sincerely you will enjoy your stay here. We are especially grateful for the presence of the Honorable Damri, whose participation underscores the government's strong commitment to strengthening our tax systems. We know he is traveling later today, and we sincerely thank him for having made time from his very busy schedule. Honorable Damri has been deeply involved in the preparation of the recent budget for our fiscal year 25-26, and his participation here is a clear signal of high-level support for reforms, including the major fiscal and tax reforms recently enacted. The overriding objective of these reforms in Mauritius is to promote fairness, efficiency, trust, and responsible management of public finances. These reforms will certainly serve as an inspiration for all of us as we embark on this important week of dialogue and learning. We will learn later, reforms are not very easy to implement. There is always protests. Nobody wants their cake to be cut down, but we have to do it. As Director General, I am privileged that the MRA is co-hosting this event, which unites tax professionals from across Africa, especially sub-Saharan Africa. Our shared goal is to build stronger, fairer, and more resilient tax systems that promote economic growth and inclusive development. In the days ahead, we will be introduced to TADAT and explore its principles, methods, and applications. This workshop is designed to familiarize us, above all, with the framework, whilst also creating a forum for dialogue, peer learning, and practical insights into tax administration. We are very grateful to the TADAT Secretariat for offering us, through the TADAT framework, a powerful pathway to improve performance in our revenue administrations, since TADAT enables uniform, evidence-based assessments of the health of core tax administration functions. TADAT's value lies in a comprehensive review across critical outcome areas, ranging from the integrity of the taxpayer register and risk management to compliance support, timely filing and payment, accurate reporting, effective dispute resolution, efficient revenue collection, and transparent accountability practices. Besides being an effective and reliable evaluation tool, TADAT is also a catalyst for reform and modernization in tax administration. By establishing a shared language, an objective set of standards, it allows benchmarking against international best practices whilst identifying gaps that must be addressed at local levels. This focus directs scarce resources to the highest impact capacity building areas, policy refinement, and institutional change, helping us move from incremental fixes to system-level transformation. Equally important, the framework strengthens trust among citizens, government, and the tax administration. Transparent, data-driven assessments reassure taxpayers that the system is fair, efficient, and accountable, thereby encouraging voluntary compliance, which is the cornerstone of sustainable revenue mobilization. For development partners and stakeholders, TADAT signals credibility and readiness for collaboration. During this workshop, we will also turn our attention to the TADAT assessment framework, with particular focus on the forthcoming Field Guide 2025. The 2019 Field Guide had already laid the foundations with emphasis on international best practices, the need for establishing a clear performance measurement framework, and scoring methodology and indicators, amongst others. This updated guide, I'm sure, will help us adapt to the latest innovations in technology, the realities of an increasingly interconnected global economy, and the rising demand for transparency and accountability in public governance. I'm confident that this new field guide will serve as an invaluable resource, helping tax administrations navigate complexity, embrace reform, and strengthen their role as trusted stewards of national revenue. This is even more important because all countries today I know of are facing fiscal pressures, i.e., increasing government expenditure and uncertain revenue streams. Since taking office as Director General of the MRA, I have made it my mission to drive meaningful change in the way we administer this institution. I am determined that the MRA should not only keep pace with global best practices, but also set new benchmarks in efficiency, fairness, and service to our citizens. My team, and I'm thankful to them, my team and I are therefore committed to introducing innovative reforms across all areas of our work. In tax administration, we are pursuing a new generation of reforms aimed at strengthening every stage of the revenue cycle, from assessment to enforcement, whilst making compliance more straightforward and fairer for taxpayers. On the assessment side, we are moving beyond simple digital filing towards more intelligent, taxpayer-friendly services. Our focus is on developing pre-assessment tools that use third-party data and analytics to help taxpayers file accurately at the first time, which would reduce the need for later corrections or disputes. Our next step is to integrate multiple data sources into a seamless taxpayer account, providing individuals and businesses with a single view of their obligations and entitlements. Moreover, we will work on deploying risk-based models supported by advanced analytics that will allow us to target high-risk cases more precisely, whilst easing the compliance burden on honest taxpayers. To complement this, we are reinforcing investigative capacity to better detect complex schemes of fiscal evasion, including transfer mispricing and aggressive tax planning by some multinational enterprises. Where necessary, cases will proceed with prosecution, demonstrating that non-compliance will not be tolerated. We are equally committed to enhancing the credibility of our objection and appeals process. Our priority now is to improve efficiency by shortening turnaround times, introducing digital case management tools, and ensuring that decisions are communicated clearly and transparently to taxpayers. These measures will provide taxpayers with greater assurance that disagreements are handled fairly, consistently, and without undue delay, further deepening their confidence in the system. Moreover, our task is no longer to simply adopt global standards, but to make the best use of them. With the Common Reporting Standards, the CRS, already operational, we are now strengthening our capacity to analyze and act on the wealth of data exchange with partner jurisdictions. This means ensuring that offshore income is not only reported, but also properly assessed, monitored, and taxed as appropriate. We will soon advance our transfer pricing framework, intensifying scrutiny of profit-shifting practices and expanding collaboration with the OECD, ATAF, IMF, and other global bodies. These efforts will help reinforce the reputation of Mauritius as a credible and transparent jurisdiction, while sending a clear signal that we will continue to make compliance easier for honest taxpayers, but we will also be firm and uncompromising in our fight against fiscal evasion and illicit financial flows. Through these reforms, we aim to build a tax system that is modern, transparent, and equitable. One which will give honest taxpayers confidence in a fair treatment, which will provide swift and predictable processes, and will ensure that every rupee which is collected efficiently so as to be consistent with our government's vision of a stronger, fairer, and more resilient Mauritius. Beyond revenue, we are also driving improvements across our support departments. We are modernizing our infrastructure and investing in secure, integrated systems that can support smarter, data-driven decision-making. We are enhancing our analytical capabilities to deliver timely insights that inform policy and drive reforms. Above all, we shall place strong emphasis on our human resources, because people, as we know, are the foundation of every successful reform. At the core of our vision is a deep commitment to empowering our staff, the true architects of the MRA's success. Capacity building will therefore be central, not just as training, but as a means of equipping our workforce with the knowledge, skills, tools, and confidence to thrive in a fast-evolving digital and globally connected tax environment. Ladies and gentlemen, we are profoundly grateful for and encouraged by the unwavering endorsement and support from the government of Mauritius, exemplified by the presence of Honorable Damri at this launch, and we thank him for this. This high-level engagement symbolizes shared determination to honor our government's mandate to build tax systems underpinned by trust, fairness, efficiency, and accountability. This support reflects the government's recognition that a strong revenue administration is the cornerstone of national development. Without a robust and trusted tax system, we cannot secure the resources needed to invest in infrastructure, education, healthcare, and social programs that uplift our people. The government's commitment, therefore, is not only to revenue collection, but to building an inclusive and sustainable future for Mauritius, one where every rupee collected is transformed into opportunity, progress, and prosperity for our nation. This, of course, places a moral as well as professional responsibility on us to administer taxes with integrity, consistency, and with respect for every citizen and taxpayer. Dear participants, during this workshop, we anticipate rigorous discussions, insightful discussions, knowledge sharing, and practical lessons drawn from tax administration reforms implemented across the region. We look forward to exploring the comprehensive updates presented in the evolving TADAT Field Guide 2025. I encourage each one of you to engage actively, to share your experience and perspectives candidly, and to fully harness the wealth of knowledge that will be exchanged throughout these sections. This workshop represents more than just an event. It marks a cornerstone in our collaborative journey towards transparent, fair, accountable, and highly effective tax administrations. Together, we will harness the collective expertise and passion in this room to shape the agenda for the next decade of tax administration excellence in Africa, and we shall also contribute meaningfully to economic prosperity for all our people. Beyond the workshop, I warmly invite all delegates to experience the beauty and culture of our island. Mauritius is not only a vibrant economic hub, but also a land of breathtaking natural beauty, diverse cultures, and warm hospitality. From pristine beaches and crystal clear waters to lush green mountains and vibrant festivals celebrating our heritage, there is a lot to explore and enjoy. I hope that your stay here will be both intellectually inspiring and personally enriching for you. Mauritius provides the ideal setting to forge long-lasting friendships and partnerships that will thrive well beyond these conference halls. I wish you all a very successful conference and discussions. I thank you and welcome you once again to Mauritius.
It reflects not only determination to ensure sound financial management, but also a genuine commitment to building sustainable and inclusive economic future for our nation. With these words, I have the honor and privilege to welcome on stage the Honorable Daneshwar Damri to deliver his keynote address.
Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this workshop is Beyond 10 Years of TADAT Assessment, Building Stronger Tax Systems for Tomorrow. So allow me to convey my heartfelt congratulations to the IMF TADAT Secretariat on its milestones of 10 years achievements. My appreciation goes to the IMF Afritac South for its excellent work and continued support to Mauritius and to sub-Saharan Africa since its establishment here. And I hear the Director, Afritac South, I think we should consider extending TADAT to customs. And I must tell you that at government level, we're also considering PEFA at the moment. In Mauritius, the recently elected government has embarked on a wide range of transformation of the public sector with reform and modernization at the top of its agenda. In fact, our motto is reform, perform, transform. It is in this context that in the 2025-2026 budget speech, the Honourable Prime Minister announced the setting up of reforms and innovation units in all ministries and departments, and that's why our budget was called Innovative Mauritius. In the field of revenue administration, we have come up with some bold reforms. One major transition has been in relation to succession planning. I remember the last time I came to this building, there was a different Director General, and therefore, since July 2025, the Mauritius Revenue Authority has a new Director General, Mr. Rohit Ramnawaz, a seasoned financial expert with over 35 years of experience in the fields of banking, taxation, finance, and international business. He brings with him a wealth of leadership experience and strategic vision for modernizing tax administration in Mauritius. But beyond that, he's a man of values, and that's what's most important. This government is all about values, and our values for public finances are accountability, transparency, responsibility, and reliability. And these values are epitomized by your new Director General. The Mauritius Revenue Authority will inevitably make the leap to adapt to the changing economic challenges, coupled with a business environment driven more increasingly by e-commerce, digital assets, and cryptocurrencies, while simultaneously fighting tax evasion and preventing the flow of illicit funds. This will require more investments in information technology and automation of many processes in tax administration, especially when our government in Mauritius, we want to digitalize the whole public services, and we want to digitalize commerce in Mauritius. And I think Africa at the same time is an economy on the app. So tax administrations will have to innovate and review their processes. And I'm very happy that the MRA, under the leadership of the new DG, is taking leaps and bounds moving ahead on that. Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, succession planning at the apex of the Revenue Authority was critical and has been implemented. At the level of the Ministry of Finance, we have given strict instructions for proper succession planning in each and every department of the MRA. The orientation of the MRA is also being revamped with greater focus and commitment to fiscal transparency and equity. Through fiscal transparency, our aim is to enhance public trust in the tax system, reduce opportunities for tax evasion and corruption, and above all, promote voluntary tax compliance. We will also bring more equity, that is, fairness in the tax system. Through horizontal equity, our objective is to make sure that taxpayers in similar situations are treated equally. By promoting vertical equity, we shall ensure that taxpayers in different financial situations are treated fairly but differently, based on their ability to pay. In a nutshell, we will lay the foundation for a tax system that is fairer, more effective, and more trusted by the people we serve. Dear friends, as we continue modernizing our public finances, ensuring an efficient use of resources and boosting our economic growth, we have introduced the performance-based budgeting system. With the new system, our objectives are straightforward. Make public institutions more efficient by ensuring that every rupee spent leads to real results. And in fact, in our budget speech, we did say that we want to find savings of 5 billion rupees in efficiencies at public sector bodies. And increase accountability and transparency in managing public resources. I think if you read the Director of Audit's report every year in Mauritius, you will see, and I think it's the same in every country that is here, you will see there's a huge scope of achieving efficiencies and saving public funds. Ladies and gentlemen, with funding based on program results and a new method of performance monitoring, the system is expected to build trust among citizens and investors, since they can see how public money is spent and the results achieved. This can help reduce deficits by keeping tighter control over unnecessary spending and strengthening fiscal discipline. I understand that the TADAT framework is made up of several performance outcome areas with measurable achievements. So with the new reform that I just mentioned, Mauritius is aligning with international good practices. As I mentioned earlier, this regional workshop brings together 22 African countries. At the regional level, our continent faces many challenges. One major challenge is the optimization of revenue collections. The importance of raising revenues in the African continent, characterized by the highest number of low-income countries and widespread poverty, cannot be underestimated. As members of the continent, it is my conviction that instead of relying on grants and donor support, we should also aim at raising sufficient financial resources from our domestic economy to meet the demands and aspirations of our citizens, especially in the context of internal and external shocks that we live every day. Our revenue administration is the core of our tax collection mechanism, and it's the backbone of a sustainable and inclusive economy. Its effectiveness and efficiency determines our potential for income redistribution and our public investment strategy. Every additional rupee or dollar that a tax administration can collect is one additional rupee dollar that can be put back in the pockets of the poor, the disadvantaged, and the low-income earners of the country. For this to happen, our tax administration needs to constantly improve its efficiency and effectiveness, and TADAT training is one that effectively contributes to achieving this goal. Launched in 2015, the TADAT tool helps revenue administrations to assess, diagnose, and ultimately improve the performance of our tax administration system using internationally recognized standards and best practices. In my humble view, all countries could undergo a TADAT assessment. And with the new field guides, which introduces new dimensions, the scope for undergoing TADAT are new. This workshop is a timely opportunity to take stock of lessons learned and to chart the way forward by coming up with a new or updated TADAT field guide. It is also an occasion to strengthen regional collaboration, to exchange knowledge and best practices, and to reaffirm our shared commitment to building tax systems that are fair, efficient, and capable of meeting the challenges of tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, sound public financial management begins with effective revenue mobilization. I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to all of you, policymakers, tax administrators, development partners, and experts for your continued engagement in building an efficient tax administration for an enhanced revenue mobilization. I trust that you will use this workshop to renew our common vision for the future, a future in which tax systems underpinned inclusive growth, strengthen trust between citizens and the state, and provide the foundation for resilient economies across our region. Together, we can build tax systems that optimize revenue collections, whilst at the same time earn the trust of the people it serves. And before I end, I would like, because workshops are about lifelong learning, and I'd like just to share with you a few words from our father of the nation, because we are celebrating his 125th birth anniversary on the 18th of September. So pre-election, he was made first-time minister in the then government, and he had the choice to become finance minister, but he opted for education. And there was one reason why he opted for education. And he believed that education, which in today's words, in today's world, it's lifelong learning, it's part of education. He believed that education would transform the destiny of Mauritius. And there was one line that this Prime Minister keeps telling me and telling us. He always said that his father, the father of the nation, said that education converts an empty mind into an open mind. And this is what I think lifelong learning does to people. Because in this world of change, of constant change, we really have to have an open mind to adapt to change, to manage the change, to embrace the change, to face the change. And we need to have all the values to be able to succeed. And we will not succeed if we don't keep trying. So with these words, I declare the workshop open. Very good morning. Thank you.